my name is Caitlin, and this is my Integrating Spirituality and Ethics blog post. So first off, Daniel's book, Counseling Principles and Christian Beliefs and an Integrated Approach. To summarize the whole book super quick, we need to set aside our own beliefs to allow other people to have autonomy in counseling situations and follow the code of ethics. However, there are ways of doing that do not compromise Christian beliefs. One important thing that I struggled with a bit before this course was safeguarding the client-counselor relationship. Now, for me, I think this process was a little bit of an issue because of my current position. When things aren't working out between me and a client, super easy switch. If it's a value thing, say for instance, I had a client who was practicing the Jewish religion, and they didn't like tattoos. As you can see, I pretty much have a half sleeve on my arm, and thus that was a really big ethical and value conflict for them, as they don't believe in tattoos and cited the tattooing that happened at Auschwitz as their reasons for not liking tattoos. And then I was able to quickly let my supervisor know, and we switched them off to another provider, and they're doing so much better now without that little minute value conflict happening. However, this process for me looked kind of working on integrating this principle more so into my own practice. The process for me really looked like looking for areas of bracketing to allow me to work with different kinds of clients like this, clients who have different cultural backgrounds, people with aggressive backgrounds, sexist tendencies, and other values that really clash with mine. Like I said, the attitude really comes from my current position. Some people just don't mesh well, right? Wrong. Daniel and the ACA Code of Ethics highlights the importance of letting the client experience of the expert bracketing their own worldview away to accommodate for a client's worldview, as long as they're not a threat to themselves or others. Sorry, my notes are minimized. Slide over. Through identifying, to accommodate, by citing ACA Code Ethics A11B, this was a bit challenging for me due to having a pretty drastic fight or flight response. Through identifying my own values and the professional values that coincide with them, I was able to identify the most effective way to bracket. So first bracket, religion is not for me. Second, religion has a high value to others. Third, counselors must maintain client autonomy. And then fourth, thus when acting as a counselor, religion may hold high value. The integration process. So as a spiritual but not religious person, I had previously found the inclusion of religion to be a bit of an overstep of boundaries for a client. This may come from past experience of counselors forcing their religion onto me, and or just general trauma associated with religion that I personally have. However, through Daniel's text, I was able to see how religious texts can be used in as a means of reflection and motivation for a client. Such as the story of Jonah and walking a mile in someone else's shoes. That's not obviously the entire summary of that story, but that is the main point behind it. And God also says that it is up to us to allow others to grow and prosper in one of the sections of John. I'm sorry, my brain is just not functioning correctly right now. I want to say it's John 3 something. Not very well versed. Exploring a client's religion in relation to therapeutic strategies in order to merge the two together, when requested, can allow an anchoring point for clients, as well as like a starting point. In addition to building that client-counselor relationship through attention to their values, and really focusing on things that are important to them to create a groundwork for what you're doing. It challenged my thinking because it highlighted that religion can be a powerful tool. Religion and spirituality can be very powerful in counseling. When the client's worldview is centric to these ideas, just by highlighting the Bible and the correlation between the ACA Code of Ethics, benevolence, non-maleficence, autonomy, justice, and fidelity are all very well supported by different sections of the Bible that I don't really have time to cite in this video, but they are all supported. However, it also provides a framework for expanding one's knowledge on religions important to the client. So if we can take that framework that Daniel gives us, we're looking at the Christian Bible, we can also take that framework and review the Torah, the Quran, other important religious texts to see what stories they have that correlate. Because at the end of the day, there are going to be things that support that. Because Judaism, for example, is based on the Ten Commandments as well. One that is still in conflict with my values is Code A2E on mandated treatment. I struggle a lot with the concept of mandated treatment because for me, in order for treatment to be effective, individuals have to be willing and over-engaged in order to make changes in their behavior. So most cases with people who are mandated, they don't really want to be there. They have a ton of attitude associated with it. This is from personal experience, not generalizing. In my personal experience in my area, the people who have been mandated to counseling are very resentful towards the counselor, the state, the judge, the whoever made it happen. So it's hard to break those barriers and gain that trust that you need for the relationship. The code to state counselor should attempt to inform of the consequences if a person wants to drop out. However, the mandated client is probably pretty aware because their options in court would have been go to mental health treatment or go to a facility or jail, whatever the other consequence might be. So it's kind of hard for me to identify like where the boundary ends and to what extent that responsibility falls on me if a client's not willing to stay long enough or listen long enough to hear what the consequences may be and they choose to do this. Does it come back on me as malpractice because I wasn't able to deliver this information in a timely fashion? Or is it on the client? So it's kind of like an ethical question I have, I suppose. If you have the chance to respond to this, Dr. Go, that would be awesome. So that's one thing that I'm still struggling with. Definitely things that I should work on in order to deal with mandated clients is learning more about the laws and techniques for engaging with mandated clients, specifically New York state law regarding mandated clients. I do have a little bit of familiarity with it from my time in residential treatment facilities. However, not that great. It would be really good to further continue my bracketing in order to help clients use their autonomy to make these decisions, but I still want to be well versed on my personal responsibility in this matter as well.